Something wrong, Mr. Ventura?
Of course not. This is a lovely room of death.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quarter. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Wednesday, it's kind of a dreary Wednesday. Wait, what day is it? Yeah, it is Wednesday. I'll be joining a friend of mine on a podcast or a live stream tonight. You want to check that out, perhaps. I'll tweet it out when we go live. Star Trek just isn't what it used to be, I suppose. Everything changes with time. I grew up a Next Generation guy. I'll always remember fondly watching those episodes with my mom. We both enjoyed the show greatly. And, you know, right now, I suppose I was watching reruns back then. I can't even remember. I was younger, probably 12 or 13 or something when I was watching it. The original Star Trek just was before my time. No disrespect. It's just, you know, it was before my time. And it didn't really hold up that well, I didn't think. At least when I was, you know, I don't know. The Next Generation just felt, you know, I don't know, awesome. I even like the Star Trek movies, and I know they're not very good. I still like them because it kind of reminds me of that era. Of course, there was Babylon 5 and many other Star Wars spin-offs, including the disastrous Picard, that never really piqued my interest, but the Next Generation has always remained basically untouched in my mind. Until now, Star Trek has decided that they want to seek a new low, find a new all-time low, absolutely embarrassing itself, degrading itself on Star Trek Lower Decks, where they decided to have a scene of the show take place in a well, it was a lot of people together doing things that adults do. In a scene that was both confusing and yet unsurprising, this is via bounding into comics, by the way, Star Trek Lower Decks recently pushed a classic piece of franchise lore into a bizarre, overtly spicy to the extreme. Actually, I better double check that these images are okay, they're all okay. Yeah. So the moment occurred in the 8th episode of Lower Decks, which is, by the way, terrible. Currently airing its 2nd season, I Excretus, during a training exercise in which lead Beckett Mariner is tasked with demonstrating her potential abilities as captain by running through a hologram simulation based on classic Star Trek, the original series episode, The Naked Time. Materializing into virtual approximation of the USS Cerritos amidst the outbreak of polywater intoxication, otherwise known in universe as the PSI 2000 virus, and the, I'm not even going to try to, Soilkovsky infection, I probably mispronounced that. Mariner soon encounters her crewmates deep within the disease's throes. However, unlike the previous depiction of polywater intoxication, which left conclusions of the flirtatious behavior sparked amongst the infected by the disease to the viewer's imagination, the ensign is confronted with a full-blown ship-wide orgy. Though Mariner initially attempts to get a handle on the situation, barking orders at the crew and demanding they return to their station, she soon loses her composure after seeing a character spread eagle on top of a counter. I'm actually going to skip over this image quick. It's a little dicey. Steven riding Ransom like a horse while hitting him with a device that looks, well, like an eggplant. These shocking displays eventually lead Mariner to eject herself and the crew members into space, netting her a failing grade and ending the simulation. Meanwhile, out in space, the debauchery continues, and I'm skipping that picture. Whoops, wrong background, I suppose. As mentioned above, this is not the first time polywater intoxication has been seen in Star Trek, having played central roles in the aforementioned The Naked Time and the Star Trek The Next Generation episode The Naked Now. However, these episodes saw more senior members of the respective Federation crew disciplined and intelligent, battling to solve the mystery of their affliction rather than immediately giving in to their desires. And while, yes, Lower Decks is meant to be a comedy, it still wants to present itself as a veritable entry into Star Trek lore. And as such, the bit begs so many questions within the series lore. Why was such an extreme simulation programmed in a Federation training program? How did anyone who was supposedly willing to give into the urges so immediately get put into the position of leadership? Given what we know about it, how was Mariner even expected to pull the ship back from this level of intoxication? That it's left feeling more desperate for laughs than genuine Star Trek humor. And we'll just see some of the takes on it. You know, some of the comment section. I think that this is always interesting. The show begs to be taken as canon, all the while dumping on said canon. Got it. It's now worth noting, because of any political affiliation philosophy I may hold on to, I can't be considered a fan of the canon, per Counselor Troy herself. Yeah, we got it. We got an interesting interview with that, too. I now understand why nerds back in the 90s feared these properties becoming more mainstream. The only crowd that would find this interesting doesn't even watch nor care about Star Trek. Star Trek has devolved into something classic fans can't follow anymore. This is Star Trek for the lowbrow, crude humor folk. I mean, there's hitting rock bottom, and then there's, you know, continuing to dig, I would argue. Star Trek The Next Generation alum Marina Sirtis says she won't be doing any conventions unless everyone is double poked. Hey, I mean, that's fine. That's her decision. You know, certainly she can choose to do that. Popular Star Trek Next Generation alum says her upcoming convention schedule will not include many U.S. appearances due to the country's refusal to enforce mandates. A fan favorite and big convention draw, she is best known for her role as Commander Deanna Troi, the resident counselor of both Enterprise D and Enterprise E. In reply to inquiry from a fan on whether or not she would be coming to a con in the U.S., she stated, "I won't be doing any conventions unless everyone is double poked, guests and public, which rules out a lot of conventions in the United States. A lot of venues in the U.S. have resumed events, including concerts, conventions, and professional sports. While some require proof of poke, others simply require masks and social distancing. However, a possible mandate from President Biden, of which current plans propose that businesses over 100 employees must have all their staff poked up or face fines up to $700,000 for every employee for noncompliance, could force many business owners to ban unpoked customers simply out of fear of economic ruin. If such a mandate was eventually enforced, it would inevitably catch up to the convention industry, given that it employs hundreds of thousands of people. I don't think it's hundreds of thousands, maybe thousands around the world, and most likely suffer huge personal losses from workers quitting in protest for forced pokes. I do think that a lot of people, when faced, when they have to choose between things and they want to choose between, putting food on their table and, keeping their job. And, I think unfortunately a lot of people are going to be forced to kind of make this decision for other reasons than their health. Do washed-up TV series comments? Do washed-up TV stars really think the fans need them more than they need the fans? It's like an 80s rock band declaring they won't perform at local casinos anymore if gambling is nearby. I actually, I don't care. It's her choice. I want to be honest. Like, it's her choice to not do these conventions. She's not saying, she's not disparaging anybody from what I can tell. She's just saying, hey, I don't want to do it if everyone's not done, and that's her choice. If you were living in that level of fear, I mean, she's an older woman, that's fine. I don't know. I don't understand going to conventions to see these people anyway, because they so clearly hate you. It doesn't make sense to me. I wouldn't go out of my way, but I know certain fans of the show, fans of certain shows, you know, they find it worth it. And that's okay too. It's just not for me. I don't want to be in the same room with any of these Hollywood weirdos if I can avoid it. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.